tried to hide which one of us they loved more. Growing up, Natalie got the bedroom with the window seat and the bigger closet. I got the room next to the water heater. She got piano lessons, cheerleading camp, and a car on her 16th birthday with a red bow on the hood. I got a library card, and whatever was left after her activities cleared the budget. Every school play she was in, both parents sat front row with flowers. The one time I made varsity, my dad forgot and showed up at the wrong field. I stopped being angry about it around 14. By 16, I had stopped expecting anything different. By the time I left for college on a partial scholarship, I had worked 2 jobs to supplement. I understood exactly what I was to this family, a backup. The kid who never needed anything because he always figured it out. My parents never corrected that assumption because it was easier if I just kept being fine. Then my grandmother passed and left everything to my parents. Around $340,000, the house on Birchwood, and a paid-off car. My parents sat Natalie and me down at the kitchen table and explained they had decided to pass the inheritance directly to Natalie. My father cleared his throat and said she was going through a difficult period and needed stability. My mother nodded and called it an investment in her future. I asked what period, specifically. My father said Natalie had been struggling emotionally and financially, and they felt she deserved a real foundation. I didn't say anything else. I drove home in my 9-year-old Civic and sat in the parking lot of my apartment for a long time. I wasn't shocked. That was the worst part. I wasn't even a little shocked. Natalie had been struggling her entire adult life, and my parents had been funding every crisis since she was 19. The deadbeat's name was Rory. He had a face that made you want to trust him, and absolutely no other qualities to back that up. Natalie met him at a wedding, left with him that same night, and within 4 months, had moved him into the condo my parents bought her with part of the inheritance. Within 8 months, the condo was listed for sale. My mother called to say they were relocating to Portland for his music career. I asked if Natalie had the money from the sale. She said, of course, why would I ask? I asked if Rory had access to the account. Silence. Then my mother said I needed to stop being so negative. 13 months later, Natalie called me from a gas station payphone in Nevada crying so hard I could barely understand her. Rory had cleaned out the joint account, taken the truck she bought him, and driven off to meet someone he had been talking to online for months. The inheritance was gone. Every dollar my parents had handed her, the condo proceeds, the savings account they had seeded with $40,000 so she would have a cushion, all of it. I wired her enough for a bus ticket home and said nothing else. She moved back into my parents' house. That was 2 years ago. Last month, my father called and said they needed to talk. I drove over on a Sunday. They sat me down at the same kitchen table. My father had reading glasses now, and my mother's hands shook when she poured the coffee. The house needed a roof. His knees were bad. She was having dizzy spells her doctor needed to investigate. They needed consistent help going forward. Someone who could manage appointments, handle the bills, and eventually consider whether there was room to move them closer to me. My father slid a handwritten note across the table. It had a number on it, $11,000, for a commitment of at least 1 year. My mother said it was not about the money. It was about keeping the family together. I looked at the number. I looked at both of them. I thought about the water heater room, the wrong field, the kitchen table where they told me Natalie needed a foundation, and I apparently did not. I folded the note once and put it in my jacket pocket. Then I told them I needed time to think. I drove home and called my financial advisor, told her I was likely the sole heir by default since the inheritance was already gone, and asked what that meant practically. She told me to get everything in writing before committing to a single thing. I texted my father that night. If we were formalizing this arrangement, I needed the terms formalized too, with an attorney. He called back within 2 minutes. I let it go to voicemail. I already knew what he was going to say.